Hey there, Centrones. It is I, Pierre Embia Drone, aka James Drone. I want to talk about Behringer today because Behringer is really making a lot of waves in the synth world. Some good and some just plain splashouts. The Neptune 80 from Behringer's announcement just a few days ago has really got people buzzing around the topic of clones and just what it is that Behringer is attempting to do. There's been a lot of promises coming out of the Behringer camp. I personally feel that there are too many promises coming too quickly, but I get the PR move that Behringer is doing. They're flooding the market where everyone wants to talk about Behringer, and everybody is buzzing about Behringer when it comes to synthesizers. And so I understand the PR movement that they're making. Now, the Neptune 80 was a big surprise for everyone, mostly because we have the DeepMind 12. So what is this Neptune 80? It is supposed to be a clone of a Juno 660. Now, I have owned a Juno 6, I have owned a Juno 60, and I currently own a Juno 106. And I never felt that the DeepMind 12, which a lot of people are saying is a clone of those synths, quite made the grade. I never really quite thought that the sound lined up. And I think it had, in my opinion now, I think it had a lot to do with, it was a little bit thinner sounding in the lower registries. And I thought that the reverb on board kind of washed things out almost into a flat kind of sound. But that's just my opinion. It could just be something going on in the acoustics of my studio. But I just never felt that it actually was up to par with the actual synthesizers that I owned that actually were made in that era. Now, with that being said, the DeepMind 12, in my opinion, is perhaps the best synth as of the date of this video here, in my opinion, that Behringer has made yet. I would say that the monopoly, in my opinion, is the second best synth that they've ever made. In fact, if you wanted to put them on par with each other, well, I mean, one being a polyphonic and one of them being a paraphonic, I would say that they're equally on the same level as far as synthesizers go. Those are my two favorite synthesizers coming from Behringer. And the reason why I say that is because, well, the DeepMind 12 was really their first adventure into the synth world. And I really believe that they wanted to get it right. They sure do want to get it right. I mean, I'm not saying they don't want to get it right at this point. Of course they do. But they really wanted to make a splash with the DeepMind 12. I think they did a really good job. I think that it was something new for them, something adventurous, and they really wanted to pour everything into it. And when they saw how excited everyone got, they started flooding the market with these other module synthesizers, the Model D and such. And I did like the Model D, but I really don't like modules, and I understand those who do, because you have to have the placement for large synthesizers if you don't have a module. So yeah, you got to have that. But when it comes to the craftsmanship of the DeepMind 12, I thought they really did a good job on that, and I thought they did a fantastic job on the monopoly. Now, recently, last year, I should say, I ridded myself of every Behringer synthesizer that I had, simply because I have some high-end synthesizers over here already. I've got a lot of synthesizers, and I was just finding a lot of overlap in many of the things that Behringer was offering. I just didn't need it. I mean, I have a sequential setup over here that covers a lot of bases, including the Pro 3, the Pro 2. So that kind of took care of my mono synths that I needed to have in my arsenal. And then I have a ton of polyphonic synthesizers, including the Arteria Polybrute and a Juno 106, which covered the bases, in my opinion, okay, this is all my opinion here, of the DeepMind 12, the Arteria Polybrute. It is an amazing synthesizer that is an absolute keeper, okay? I still have mine. It's beautiful. And then on top of that, I've got a Moog 1. I mean, I can go on and on and on as to why I didn't need these Behringer synthesizers. And so here's my point. Behringer is recycling ideas, stuff that's already been tried and has been found to be very successful. And it is great to have these old synthesizers resurrected. But with a studio such as mine, I really didn't need this resurrection here so far. Okay? Now, I will say this. When they're coming out with their UBXA, I'm extremely tempted to get that one, simply because it appears to have a sound that is all its own. And I really, really am curious to experience that here in the studio. But who knows? I may or may not do that, okay? The Neptune-80, it looks like a DeepMind 12 that's got a new paint job, and it's got a little digital screen. I'm not sure if this is going to be something that I'm going to want or need in my studio. We will see. I like to hear what this thing can do. I really enjoyed the Juno 6 even more than I did the Juno 60. And I know that sounds kind of crazy, okay, to some people, because you would say that they are exactly the same machine. But I will tell you this. When you do not add presets to a synthesizer, like the Juno 6, it did not have presets, there is this minute difference, okay, when you are selecting the envelopes, all right, and the settings for the synthesizer. You're working on a micro numeral basis rather than these even numbered numerals. It's kind of hard to explain, but there is a minute difference I have heard and I have read about the Juno 6 versus the 60. And it could have just been in my imagination, which is something that gets away with me quite a lot, okay? So I would say that if this Neptune can nail the sounds of the Juno 6 and the Juno 60, which, by the way, is different than a Juno 106, it would really pique my interest, and I would probably grab one of these. But I will tell you this, and I'm probably going to get flamed in the comment section for this. I'm not enthused about them recycling the casing for the DeepMind 12. I really wish they would have went with a more traditional look for the Neptune-80. And Behringer, it's probably too late to say this, but I know you watch my videos. I am just really hoping that you guys will get rid of that casing and not make people think that this is just a slimmed down version of the DeepMind 12, DeepMind 6. There's two versions of it out there. I would really hope that you guys would change that casing because it belongs to the DeepMind, and I think it also has the. I think they've used this chassis on a couple of other synthesizers too. So these are my thoughts on Behringer. When is this going to be coming out? Well, they got a fully working demo, but, they say that on other products, too, so we just never know. If this comes out this year, it's probably going to tick a lot of people off because we're still waiting on the UBXA. And Behringer is kind of slow in delivering on promises. And the only reason why they're slow on it is because they're announcing this stuff too early on. I think it's sequential that announces 30 days before something's available. I think Roland announces 30 days or even sooner before something's available. Now, some people have commented on my videos that while Behringer is trying to bring these classics back, Roland keeps recycling the same synthesizers in a digital format. And I would have to agree with that. Roland has pretty much abandoned in the last couple of years anything analog. Now, I do have their new edition of their Phantom, their 2019 edition, and I will tell you that it has an analog filter on this one, okay? The Phantom 2019 version does have an analog filter, and it makes a huge difference when you're trying to translate some of these digital sounds. But it's just, to me, it's just a day late and $1 short. If you really want to mimic some of these analog sounds, you're going to have to do better than just recycling the same sounds over and over again. Like I said, I have a Juno 106, and when I try to replicate some of the sounds that I can get out of that little monster from any gear that Roland has ever made digitally, it doesn't translate. There's this tone difference. There's this thickness. There's this milkiness that you just don't get in the digital world. Now, I'm not saying digital is bad, because I have digital synthesizers, and they have their place in my tracks, in my melodies, and I have my analog and I have my hybrids. There's something for everyone. So getting back to the point, a lot of people are disappointed when they hear people bashing Behringer for bringing back these old machines and not really coming up with their own ideas. I even have said before in videos that it would be great for Behringer to come up with their own brand new synthesizer. But these are my opinions. What is your opinion? Leave a comment below. I am Pure Ambient Drone. Hit that subscribe button, tap that bell, and until next time, keep calm and synth on.